morning, dear students. Now welcome to your business studies class. Now yesterday we have covered about partnership, its merits, demerits, who is a minor, how does a minor act as a partner. Then we also saw the types of partnership. There were some 4 types: general, then you had this particular, then you have the partnership at will, limited and unlimited partnership. So all these we have covered. We have also seen that what partnership deed is, how the deed is made, what are the contents that we have in a deed, and all these things. So the whole partnership concept is clear. I hope you have no doubts left. If you have, you please call me up. Now today we move to a topic which is cooperative society. So our topic for today will be what is cooperative society, what are the merits, demerits, and everything related to cooperative society. So see, what do you mean by cooperative society? Now when voluntarily means willingly, many people join hands together or they form an association for the purpose of protecting their economic and social interest. Means their motive is to protect the economic interest and the social interest of the person. Then that type of association or organization is known as cooperative society. It means they have mutually agreed that they will help each other and benefit each other, and they have voluntarily, means out of their own will, made this type of societies. So they will be doing some economic benefit and social benefit for each other. Then see what we have. The basic principle of cooperative society is that you help yourself through mutual help. Means if you help each other, you will help yourself. Because if all the people join hands together and they work, it will help each of them. So the motive is, basic principle on which they work is each for all and all for each. Please note this in your copies. It is each for all, means one is there for everyone and everyone is there for each and everyone. So each for all and all for each. This is what their motive is. Now when we move towards the features, let us see what are the features or the characteristics of these cooperative organizations. So the first one that we have is voluntarily membership. It means anybody can become a member in a cooperative society at his own wish, and it is not a compulsion at all. Means it is their own wish that they want to become a member. It is up to them. Nobody is forcing them to do. Nobody is asking them not to become a member. So it is up to you. If you willingly want to become the member of that cooperative society, you can become the member. So it is a voluntary membership. Moving to the next point, we have legal status. It means as the registration of a cooperative society is compulsory. Means it is very important that you register yourself. It gets a separate legal entity and a continuous existence. A very important point that first of all, it doesn't affect with the continuities, doesn't affect with the members. Members come and go, but the cooperative society still continues. Still, it is continuous business. Plus, it has a separate legal entity, means the people are not liable to pay the debt. Remember the point that if some in partnership and in all other things, we have seen that the Karta was personally liable to pay the debt. The sole proprietor was personally liable to pay the debt. The partners were personally liable to pay the debt. But here the members are not liable to pay the debt. So that means it has a separate legal existence from the society. Members are different, society is different. But the registration is very compulsory. No cooperative society can be formed without having a registration. So it gets a legal status in the market. Moving to the third point, we have limited liability. As this just now I said, the liability of the member is limited. So they have the limited liability to the extent of the membership they are having. So it is not that one member or all the members have unlimited liability. They have a very limited liability depending upon their share or their membership things. Okay. Moving to the fourth point, we have control. It means what? That control is vested in the hands of board of directors who are elected by the members. The whole control lies in the hand of board of directors. Who are the board members? They have the whole control in their hands. Okay. And the board of directors are elected by the members under the principle of one man. Means all the board of directors are being selected by the members only, by one man vote. You know what is the system of one man vote? Means each man will have one vote. So with that each one man vote, the control lies in the hands of directors, and the directors are being elected by the members himself. So the control lies in the hand of the directors. Fine. And the last feature that you have is service motive. Ultimately, any cooperative society or organization forms with the motive of rendering service to the people. The main objective is to render service to the members rather than profit. They are not earning for profit. So they are just going to render services to their members. All the members are getting benefit out of that society. So understood the features of the cooperative society. Next, we move towards the next topic. How does a cooperative society forms? So we will see what is the formation of the cooperative society. See, according to the Kerala Cooperative Societies Act, there should be at least 10 members who are bound together by a common bond belonging to the same locality, same class or occupation, or having the same economic need. Means their economic need is same. They need the money or any other purpose. They reside in the same locality. They are of the same class, same occupation. So according to the Kerala Cooperative Societies, minimum 10 members will join together with a common bond and have the same locality, class, occupation. Understood about this? Next, you see what we have. These members are known as promoters. Means the members are known as promoters. They should present a joint application to the registrar of the cooperative society. I told you that the registration of the cooperative society is very important. So when they register themselves, it is very important that they present a joint application to the registrar of the cooperative society. Means an application form has to be given, signed by all the members, and all the members are known as promoters. Please jot down these points in your notebooks. See the next point that we have. The application should contain the following. What is he going to write in that application? First of all, the most important thing is the proposed name of the society. Ultimately, what name or what name are they going to give to their society? Then what is their aim and objective of forming that society? Why are they forming that society? The third thing is area of operation. Where are they operating? What is the area? Next is the nature of the member's liability. Means the member has what sort of nature and liability, to what extent. Next is particulars of the share capital to be raised. How much of money can they raise from the market? Share capital means the shares they will issue and get the money from the market. And they must send a copy of all the bylaws of the society to the law. Means they should register themselves, so a copy will be given to them. So they should have everything in their application. All these points are required to fill in the application. Understood? Now, after scrutiny means after the books are being scrutinized, being seen properly, checked properly, the registrar will issue a certificate of registration, and thereafter the society can admit new members. It means they will first see whether everything is correct or not. Then after scrutiny means after checking everything, the registrar will issue a certificate of registration, and then the society can admit new members also, and the society can start their business also. It means they can form the society and do their benefit to each other. So understood how the formation of the society is? Now next we move towards the merits of the cooperative society. So see what merits do we have for these cooperative societies. The first one that you have is equal voting right. Very important merit, that all the members have one man vote. I told you one man vote means one man having one vote. So each member is having an equal voting right irrespective of the capital what they have given. Suppose A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. 10 members are there. Now each one has given a different amount of capital. A has given 5 lakh, B has given 1 lakh, C has given 2 lakh. All of them have given unequal, different amounts of capital. But the voting right of each member is equal. It's not that if A has given 5 lakh rupees, he will have more voting right. No. So it follows the principle of one man, one vote. Means one man is going to give one vote. So each member has equal voting right. Understood the first merit? Moving to the second one, we have limited liability. Again, we saw this as a feature, that each member is having a limited liability to the extent of the capital they have contributed. That means if A has contributed 5 lakh, his liability will be little more than B. If B has given 2 lakh, his liability will be little less than A. So according to the capital contribution, the liability of the member is limited to that extent. Understood? So they have limited liability. Moving to the third point, we have stable existence. Means the existence of the society is not affected by the death, insanity and insolvency. Means if any person dies, any person became insane or mad, or any person became insolvent, then all these things will not affect the existence of the society. The society will still go on. Means it will still continue the business. So the existence of the society is very stable. It's not that it is, getting up and down, it may close, nothing of that sort. So members are not, the existence of the society are not affected by the members. Understood? Moving to the fourth point, we have economy in operation. Means to eliminate middlemen The members of the cooperative society do the ordinary services to the society themselves, which in turn reduces the cost of operation. Means all the work are being done by the members, so there is no middleman. And when there is no middleman, obviously the cost of the goods and everything become less. Directly they buy it from the producers, they pack themselves and then deliver themselves. So a lot of work are being done by the members themselves, and as a result, the cost is being decreased. They have a control on their cost, and so the economy is going smooth. Understood? Moving to the last merit that we have. We have two more. Support from the government. It means as it is a democratic organization, government will provide various support to such organizations. They will take to low tax from them. They also grant some subsidies to them. The rate of the loans given to these societies are very low. So there is a lot of support from the government that these societies give, because this society's motive is not to earn profit. They are rendering service to the members. So government give a lot of support to these type of society. They give them loans at a low rate of interest. They take taxes very low. There are a lot of subsidies or grants are being given to them. So this cooperative society has got a lot of support from the government system. Moving to the next point we have, and the last one, easy formation. It means this sort of company is easily formed. You don't have to do much formalities. No complex legal formalities are required to be done to form a cooperative society. So these sort of societies are very easily formed and very easily this will run. So easy to form such type of society. So these were your 6 merits of cooperative society. Now moving towards the demerits of the limitations of the cooperative society is the first one, limited resource. It means low rate of dividend and one man, one vote principle rewards the members to invest money. Means ultimately one man has one vote. So why is A going to give more of the capital? So they try to, since the rate of dividend also they get less, so they try to give less of the money. They invest very less. Why will the members, if all the members are equal, then why will they give more amount? So everyone likes to give the same amount which other members are given. So the resources sometimes become very limited. Plus they are given a very low rate of dividend, so the people doesn't want to invest money. So this is one drawback that the cooperative society faces. The second one that we have is inefficient management. It means sometimes the members are, not that smart enough or efficient enough to manage. And the board of directors are, being elected by the members themselves. So among the members only they decide who will become the board of directors. So sometimes inefficient management is there. The members are elected from themselves, so they may not be that competent enough. They may not be that smart enough to do the business. So that happens. That is a drawback of the cooperative society. Moving to the third point, we have lack of business secrecy. Now, since the general body openly discuss everything, all the facts, all the figures and everything, so there is a lack of secrecy in the business. No secrecy is being kept. Everyone openly discuss all the matter. The board of directors is sitting among the members and then discussing all the matters. So the figure get opened, facts get opened, no secrecy in the business is maintained. Understood? Moving to the next point, we have excessive government control. See, I told you the government gives a lot of benefits. So they have a lot of, control over the cooperative society also. So then the smooth functioning of the society gets hampered. It affects the smooth functioning of the society since government give a lot of control over their business. And the last demerit that you have is difference of opinion. Since there are different members, so everyone will have their different opinion. So the conflict among the member adversely affects the control. Means their opinion varies, and as a result, controlling the becomes difficult because people will have different perspective. Everyone will have their own perspective. For a particular thing, one may say yes, one may say no. So with that, there is with difference in opinion, there arises conflict among the partners. Now these were in short your 5 demerits. Please note all of them in your copies. Now we move to the topic types of the cooperative society. So see what are the different types of cooperative societies we have. The first one is consumers cooperative society. So see, formed by the consumers means these type of societies are formed by the consumers themselves to ensure supply of the consumer goods in a fair price. Means they ensure that the goods are available to the customers at a fair price. No person are being charged extra and the rate from the market will be less. The third thing is they try to directly purchase from the wholesalers, and when they directly purchase from the wholesaler, their cost is low and thus their selling price is also low. Next, they try to distribute to the members and outsiders. First, they will distribute among the members. If anything is left, they also try to give it to the outsiders at a low rate compared to the market. And last, they take only a little margin of profit. Means the consumers this type of society doesn't try to take a lot of margin from the people. Only a small amount of margin they keep, and they run in this way. So understood the first type of cooperative society. All these points, if you write, you will get full marks for these answers. The second type of that cooperative society is producers cooperative society. So see the points that you have. They are also called industrial cooperative society. Means these societies are industrial cooperative society. Next, they are promoted by the small producers and the craftsmen. Means there are small producers and craftsmen who operate and promote this sort of cooperative society. The third point is they help them to start small scale and cottage industry. Means generally these businesses are small scale industry or cottage based industry. Means they manufacture themselves. Handmade products are manufactured. Okay. Next point is they supply the raw materials, tools and equipment. So these type of cooperative societies supply raw materials, tools, equipments which are required to convert the raw materials into finished products. And last, they sell their product in the market. Means they openly go and sell their product in the market. Understood the second category. Moving to the third one that we have, marketing cooperative society. So they are formed by the farmers, artisans, small producers. So all these people, they make these type of cooperative society. They collect the product from the members themselves. Means the products are being taken from the members. The members, each members are doing some or the other work. Either they are a producer, or they are artisans, or they are farmers. Third one is grade and processes the product. Means they remake the products. So for example, you see Amul. So many farmers are being, supplying, many farmers or artisans or says these herdsmen who keep the cattle and all, they supply the milk and everything to these type of societies. And now Amul is one society who will grade and process the milk and then make the products. Butter, cheese, then cream, all these things they will make and process. Next is provide storage facilities. So cooperative society also help to give them storage facilities. Next is they sell in the market only on a favorable condition. Means if the condition is favorable, then only they will sell in the market. Otherwise, they don't go and sell it in the market. If there is high demand or something, the supply is low, then they don't try and take the advantage of that market. No. Next is they provide finance and raw materials. Again, if money is required or some raw materials are required, so these marketing cooperatives give these raw materials and money to the needy people. And last, they help to promote bargaining capacity of the members. Means if the members have the bargaining capacity, they promote, they give them little discount. And they set the price according to the members and give them. So this is the third type of cooperative society. Understood? Moving to the fourth one, we have farmers cooperative society. Now as the name says, it is an association of small farmers in a village. They will make a society, many farmers together. Now large scale production is the main thing because they are jointly cultivating a land. Lot of hectares of land are there and they are jointly making the products. Manufacturing means they are producing the things. Next is yield increases in per acre of land. Means in per acre of land the yield increases because if all the people are working together, they are rendering the money and everything. So the yield of that land is more. Next is to introduce modern method of cultivation. They try, having all modern means of cultivation. Tractors, then lot of new equipments. So all the man-made products, everything they will not do manually. They try to bring the machines and all and then cultivate. And last, to inculcate the spirit of cooperation among the members. They try to have this spirit among each other that please cooperate with each other. Because if we cooperate, if one is there for all, and then all will be there for one. So that spirit they have. Understood? Moving to the fifth type, we have credit cooperative society. It means to provide short-term finance. They will give short-term finance to these societies. They will charge only a very reasonable rate of interest. Means very small amount of interest they will charge. These societies render credit to the people with a low rate of interest. And last, they will protect the members from money lenders. There are many money lenders, who try and give the money to the needy people on a lot of interest rate. So this type of cooperative society help those money lenders, help those people to avoid going to money lenders. People can approach these cooperative societies and take the money. Understood? See what we have next in this. There are types of these credit societies. Means rural banks to support the farmers. Many rural banks have opened up to support these farmers. There are urban banks who give small traders and artisans some money and help. There are employees credit societies which are formed by the employees in the government or non-government organizations. So they form such societies. And there are wage earner societies formed by the workers to meet their credit needs. So when the daily wage earners earn their money, so many societies help those needy people, those workers, by giving them credit. So these are the types of credit societies from where you can get the credit. Understood? Now moving to the last type, cooperative housing societies. So see, to provide housing facilities to the member, they give housing facility to the members. They either give it in the ownership or on a rental basis also. If people have the money, they will buy, or if they want on rent, then they will get the rent facility also. They help to purchase house at a less cost. Now if you purchase house from these type of societies, your rate will be less. And they help to purchase house on easy installments. It means on EMIs you can set up and purchase. So this is the cooperative housing society. And now the last thing is types of cooperative housing societies. So see what types of cooperative societies are. Land society means they acquire land and then distribute among the members small plots at a very reasonable price, or either they will pay the amount of that plot at lump sum, or even they can give the installments. So this is, they give directly the land, and now each one will make their house themselves. Second category that we have is housing finance societies, means selling the plot to the member and they are advancing the money for the construction of the house also. They will give the plot also, they will give the money to construct the house also. Understood? So this is housing finance society. The third one that we have is house building societies, means acquire the land, then construct large number of houses in that land, then construct those. Construction cost is very lower in the many houses at a time they construct, so the low cost per house will be very low, and last they will sell them to all the members on a very reasonable price. Understood? And the last one that you have is tenancy cooperative societies. So this type of society own the houses and allot them to the member on rental basis. They have their own houses, but they will give the rent basis to the members. So these were your types of cooperative housing societies. So please go through all the types, all the merits, demerits of the cooperative society. I do only this much today, and if you have any doubt, you please call me up. Please jot down all the notes in your copies. Thank you. Have a nice day.